Hey, what's going on YouTube? Down with Paris21 here, and I am very excited to bring to you guys my Dragonic Overlord The End deck profile. Been waiting for about a year, ever since I started playing this game, to have this deck in English, that is, because I was actually experimenting with it in Japanese, so I'm very excited that us English players finally got the card. So yeah, I've been doing a little bit of playtesting with it, with proxies before set 5 was actually released. Definitely, it's safe to say that this is the best deck right now, in my opinion, for many reasons. But yeah, without further ado, let's actually get to it. So, first for your starter, Lizard Soldier Conroe. As I say with virtually like every Kagero deck I profile, he's arguably the best starter for his respective clan. Simple as that. He can toolbox into any of the grade 1s. And Kagero, which of course Kagero has some of the best grade 1s in the game, if not the best. I said it. So, triggers, 4 crit, 4 Tahr, 2 Dracokid for 6 crit, 4 Gatling Claw. This card's really good to kill those starters. And 2 Dragonic Overlord, 6 crit, 6 draw. Sorry guys, I'm a little sick. So yeah, I like 6 crit, 6 draw because the goal of the deck is not necessarily to overpower your opponent, but to apply constant pressure to them and give a little bit of control to their field. So the extra draw power is nice to maybe draw into multiple copies of your Overlord The End, and just to help draw into other combo pieces to help apply pressure to your opponent. So I liked it a lot. Helps the deck be consistent, and with the Dragon Dance Harmonica behind a cross-ridden Overlord The End, it's hitting for 18, which is good against other 13k Vanguard, so it's not too bad. And then 4 heal. Simple as that. Now for grade 3s, of course, you have 4 copies of Overlord The End, 4 Dragonic Overlord. Now, no, I don't refer to this card as Dote or Dote, whatever. I don't know why, I cringe a little bit inside when people keep referring to him as that. I think he deserves a little bit more respect than for him to be called by his initials. I don't know, that's just me. I'm sure you wouldn't like it if people keep calling you by your initials instead of your real name. That's just me. So yes, 4 Dragonic Overlord The End, 4 Dragonic Overlord. The deck is actually pretty counterblast efficient. In my testing, I was able to pull off the regular Overlord skill a few times, because your opponent usually tries to block him a lot of times, and on average you should be able to get a skill off maybe once. Here and there it will be like twice per game I get it off, but that's because I usually play against bad opponents, or I'm playing against players with really bad defensive hands that they have no choice but to no guard him. So it's pretty good. So it's really good, one of the most pressuring cards in the game. It's what makes this deck tier 1. Next up for grade 2s, 4 Nehalem, 10k beats are really good, and they're very essential to put in front of an 8k booster to hit for that 18k number to take on other CROSSRIDEs. You have 4 Burning Horn. Gains 3000 when you have a Vanguard with Overlord in its name, so it's really good to be a 12k attacker. I mean, if you're facing against a 10k Vanguard, I mean, you can make him a 20k, but he's really there so you can easily hit those 18k numbers that you need to take on other CROSSRIDEs. Because you will see a lot of these. I'm anticipating to see a lot of this deck and maybe other CROSSRIDEs at the qualifiers, so he's very important. Then one of my favorite grade 2s in the deck, excuse me, it's Tejas. I like Tejas a lot just because it's meant to pressure my opponent's field by threatening their boosters, because he's almost never dead. If your opponent has a full field, which they should have most of the time, maybe like mid to late game, he's like almost never dead in that situation. And like when you're going up against a 13k Vanguard, boosters are very important to have, especially the right ones under the right attackers, to be able to hit the 18k number plus, so you can be able to effectively take on a CROSSRIDE. So Tejas helps pressure your opponent more and helps threaten that field of theirs. Because really, Overlord The End, your opponent's going to be busy trying to block him because they don't want his skill to go off. So at the same time, while they're wasting cards to try and block him, you can be using Tejas to pressure their back row more, so either they have to waste more cards or lose precious boosters. So I like the Tejas in this deck. It really helps the control aspect that this deck goes for. Excuse me. Next up for grade 1s, 4 Bahr. 8k boosters are ever so important now that CROSSRIDEs are out. Put these behind a 10k, you hit for that 18k number. 4 Perfect Guards. I was actually testing out 3 just because ideally a CROSSRIDE in the end is 13, so it's easy to block, but there are times where you don't get the end. Maybe you're forced to ride a Dragonic Overlord or you don't CROSSRIDE, so it's nice just to have the extra perfect guards. Plus, I expect to see a lot of mirror matches of this, so these just help because of course they can just go after a weak rear guard, which of course will force more shield. So it's nice. It's just nice to have these. Plus the fact is I run 6 draw triggers does help support these a little bit better. So they worked out pretty good. And 3 Kimnara. Kimnara is really good. Just because one, it's just a counterblast 1, goes in the soul, which it's useful in the soul for a card I run in here, to kill a grade 1 of your opponent. So if your opponent already has assembled a perfect column, which is usually hard for most decks to do, to take on a 13k Vanguard, you can easily snipe it, instantly ruin their strategy and ruin their day. So, and it's a 6k booster, so if you put it behind a Burning Horn, it's still hitting for 18, or maybe behind a Nehalem, hitting for 18 or 16. The opponent has like 11k as well, so it's pretty good. And then one of my favorite grade 1s of the deck, 2 Heatnails. I was thinking about running Flame of Hope Aermo in the deck, but I decided just to put Heatnails instead, just because Heatnails helps maintain the pressure brought upon your opponent. Just because, like I said, if you have a field with like Overlord The End, you have a Tejas, and you have a Heatnail backed by anything, like a Burning Horn for instance, which hits for 18, like your opponent is going to be worried about all 3 of your attacks. So rather than your opponent focusing all their shield on this and taking your rearguard attacks, they're going to be punished for that now. So not only do they have to think about maybe either blocking the Overlord The End or gambling on you using the skill, now they have to worry about potentially losing boosters with Heatnail and Tejas. So that's the kind of idea that I centered this deck around, is to keep maintaining pressure on my opponent at all times. So the Heatnails work really well, 2 is just fine. And then 1 Flame of Promis Aermo. I'm still a little iffy about the card just because of course it's only 4k, and you have to Soul Blast to make it a 10k booster, which is fine to take on other CROSSRIDEs, but there are times where like you have to like pick and choose when you do it, because you don't want to just like do it freely and then you're out of soul, and you don't want to like Soul Blast a Dragonic Overlord and lose the boost. So it's just really up to you as a player to figure out when's the best time to use it. So you have to like pick and choose. So that's my lineup there. So yeah, there you have it guys. That is my Overlord The End deck that I'm probably going to be taking it to qualifiers, just because like I said, Kagero is definitely one of my first passions in this game and one of my favorite clans of course. So I'm very excited to actually take these to some of my locals, do some more testing with it. But as of right now, for what I've tested with some friends who are really good players of course, I'm really happy with the build so far. So yeah, as always guys, be sure to leave a comment down below with any suggestions or any comments you have about the deck, and be sure to give a thumbs up to the video if you like what you saw. And as always, be sure to subscribe to my channel for more content, and also if you want to suggest any matches you want to see me play this against, feel free to do so as well. I'll try to do my best to get to those. Well yeah, other than that guys, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.